Howdy, what's poppin', my dudes? Today, my corporate law professor, Erik Estrada, has graciously taken the time to teach us students a little bit about the real estate game. And generally, although this isn't legal and professional advice, generally, real estate and real property is a pretty sound investment to make. So enjoy.
Your interest is 3, right? And then you're like, okay, I have enough money in this first one because every month you're getting this, right? You're getting appreciation and no pay down. So every month your equity builds. So then you're like, okay, this was my fact pattern. I'm gonna take out, it's called the cash out refi. I'm gonna take out a certain amount from this because of this over a couple of years, and I'm gonna put it into another property. So now it's like the game of Monopoly, right? You got number 1 working for you.
This is what you were talking about like a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right,
And then you got number 2. So now you got 2 properties every month that's doing this, right?
Right.
And you don't need that many, where if you just take simple time value of money calculator, let's assume that you can get to 5 doors, right? They generally talk about having 10 is great. I think it just depends on where you invest. But if you have 5 of these, just plug in like probably 20,000 that you're making per month into the time value of money calculator, and you're like, I could just do it. That's gonna grow to like 20 million.
Which also helps you service the debt.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's the only risk.
Oh, this is where the game gets real fun, when you have many pieces to a puzzle, right? Because then you're like, if anything happens, I could liquidate this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yep. Sell it off for 300.
Gives you a lot of wiggle room.
A lot of, yeah, it almost de-risks it the more that you have. If you do this
You're
for
almost
10
like
years,
a Pareto distribution, like
Flywheel effect.
flywheel effect, if you do this for 10 years, it doesn't matter what your job is, because this is your future, and then you just do whatever you want. And then again, the 1031, did I explain that? The tax-free?
No.
Then let's assume for number 1, you want to get rid of it and put it, it's like the game of Monopoly, you're going to trade 1 for 2. They'll let you do it tax-free. It's called the 1031 exchange. And then this is the kicker. If you have like all these and you die, guess what your kids get it at?
the fair market value.
No tax.
You've never paid any tax. You've avoided it, and then when you die, the kids get a step up in basis. So then you've hooked up your kids for life. I mean, for me, knowing what I know, it's tough to beat this.
Yeah.
So
Real property.
Like, do you actively do this? Like, invest in houses?
Yeah. Real estate is the way to go.
So
I feel like it's so hard to break into.
It is.
But like, okay, so my thought right now is, like, me and Chance have talked about this a lot. So he pays our mortgage, obviously. Like, I don't have an income right now. So he pays our mortgage and all of our bills. So when I start working, we don't necessarily need my income to pay our mortgage and our bills, because he's already been able to cover that.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the time to do it.
Yeah.
Because
if I'm you, I'd buy another one under your name.
Yeah.
But just again, think like a CFO.
Yeah.
Can you service the debt when it comes due? If you can, you're fine. That's where people get into trouble, and companies.
Like, I wish it was easier.
Are you talking about just what?
The note
Can you
payment.
pay it?
Yeah. The 800,000.
Yeah, you just borrowed 800,000 from the bank.
Okay.
Can you pay a
that?
mortgage?
Can you pay that when it comes due? Because
Yeah.
every month they're coming due.
Yep.
But if you can pay that through renters, whatever, liquidity, then this is a good way to make money.
So what do you think about the flipping houses?
I think buy and hold.
See, my papa, he's like lived 100 lives. He hit the oil boom in Tulsa and then lost it all, and then he got a business in here in Tulsa and sold that for a
Good for him.
good amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, anyway, back in the day, he was real big on going to public notice auctions.
Yeah.
And so, like, he owns like 30 lots at Grand Lake that there's nothing on them. He just likes to drive his bulldozer on it. But you could do that and get houses for fairly cheap and then flip them and then do that.
You can.
But there's just extra work involved. And you would have to get a construction loan, I
And you
guess.
need caps to buy them.
Yeah, that's right. It's all cat. Yeah. I did forget about that.
You know what has been my play? Buying really good properties in very expensive places. 'Cause,
Like, what do you mean?
like Vail, like
Oh, okay.
Newport Beach. Because here's why. Somewhere in the world, someone's making money, right? And when they do, they go to the same spots. Because again, it's a trophy property.
Yeah.
So essentially the market is never impacted in trophy property locations.
They kind of float above whatever happens.
Yeah, because
in the
again,
general
someone
scheme.
put together,
Right.
I can make hundreds of millions by looking at these notes at Silicon Valley Bank, and when they make that dollar, they go to the same, because they want to brag to their friends.
Yeah.
I own a place in Aspen.
Right.
So, then why would that be good for you to buy them?
Because-
aren't they wanting to buy them too? So wouldn't you just sell them?
It's the appreciation.
Oh, so you'll sell them for a
I'll
profit.
give you a real world example. Keep this confidential. Double.
So when will you sell that?
And it was not cheap to begin with.
Yeah. So when do you sell that?
You buy and hold. That's the game. You want to do this. You buy
But
and hold.
then, okay, so people are renting them.
Yeah.
Like renting it
Yeah.
from you now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was confused. Like, don't they want to own the properties there, or they just want to go there?
You just want to go there.
But then I feel like you got to do
Well, especially
that.
if you're new to the money, you like, you go there to go there, but you're not quite ready to like buy a house.
Settle in.
You know?
I see.
But I feel like you have to do 1,000,000 of those on small scale before you could ever buy something
It's
that
true.
big.
It's the game of Monopoly. But when you have these, it's really fun.
Yeah.
The other thing you should do is just like look up Newport Coast. I mean, again, the anchor is the ocean. There's only so many houses.
Yeah.
This is like where Kobe lives. There's only so many that you can put up there.
Yeah.
Right? So if you somehow can get a foothold, I call it a foothold. If you can somehow get a foothold there, this is next level.
Yeah. No kidding. The appreciation. So when you have this property in Aspen or whatever, do you have to like hire a rental company to manage it for you? Okay. But once you figure out how to do that, that's pretty straightforward.
Cost of doing business.
Okay.
So if you were to do the house flipping thing, couldn't you invest into more houses through your equity?
Yeah, I mean, it's one way to build up your cash is you're flipping. Eventually, though, you should buy a whole, because if you just
Well,
like
no, I mean flip it to make it a rental property and then use that
Yes,
equity
yes.
in your new
this
that
is like
house.
the Burr method. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I think the Burr method still works in this jurisdiction. You buy like undervalued, fix it up a little bit, then you rent it out. The key, though, that most people miss is the cash out refi.
What is that?
That's where you pull. So as soon as you fix it up and get a new appraisal,
You pull the equity out
you
immediately.
pull the equity,
Yeah,
you put it in
and then
number
get
two.
another house. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I'm saying doing.
Mhm.
Because I come from like a blue collar family. So like anything needing to be done could just be done by like my family.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
a
then
great way
you
to make
don't,
money.
like my dad's plumbed before, chance remodels bathrooms and showers.
Have you heard of Burr?
No, I don't
Yeah.
know what that was.
It's like rehab. I don't know. You can Google it, but it's the same concept, which is you find something that's a little bit lower, buy it, fix it up, and then once you fix it up, you get a new appraisal, and then the new appraisal, you leave in 20%, but you pull out all the rest. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And then when you pull it out, you go do it again.
That's awesome.
So you just keep doing it until you have, a certain
And
number.
they're gentrifying so many parts of Tulsa. Like now's the time to do it.
Yes, it is.
If you're ever gonna do it, it's right now.
The other thing I've thought about this market is a great time if you can find land. You just buy land for like 40 and build on the land.
Yeah, I can't. It irritates me so bad because you can't own land anymore. It's impossible. Like, we're trying to like move north in Nowata County, which is basically Coffeyville, because the land there is what the land in Collinsville used to be when my parents bought it back 30 years ago.
Right.
Like, it's impossible to live here 3 towns that way or 6 towns this way. You can't do it. It's not feasible for somebody like my age because they're going for, insane. I think like 6 years ago, there was a place on Oologah, which Oologah was not a big money buy land type area, and they were
Yeah.
trying to sell it for, it's 5 acres, and they wanted, I don't know, like something insane per acre. Tens and tens of $1,000s per acre, and it's just like back in the day. It would have been 1/3 of the price when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, from my view, it's still cheap.
Yeah, it is. In Enid, where I'm from, they're given like 100 acres for literally like
I
250,000.
mean, generally, if you talk to anyone who's done real estate, they never regret. It just generally always goes up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the down
Except
payment-
you have to look around here because a lot of land, you're like, that's a deal, gotta buy that. And it's like, they're like great for hunting lease because like it's all like flood land. And so like they sell it as like
Yeah.
this awesome piece of land. Like there was so many times I got my hopes up. I was like, we gotta buy it before we bought this house. And then we would go there and chances like this is in the bottoms, like it floods. And I would go back through there and it's like great for hunting land.
So, you know, I own in Killeen, which is kind of like this market. Like, it's fine. You still make money. You just, I mean, it's the trophy properties that are next level.
Yeah, but you have
I
to
see.
do
You have to have a lot
places
of
like this for a long
Yeah,
time.
gotta have a mill.
Or you work in big law, right? Do what you gotta do.
That too. Yep. Well, I mean, actually, you only need 200K because you'll do the mortgage. Use the debt to your advantage.
See, I have this new idea. Well, not a new idea. It's not my idea at all.